So what we want to do, we want to try and get lots of colours in like we did last week with our acrylic. So, and again, you can use the same colours as we used last week if you wish, or of course you can use any colours. But if you think what we started with, do you remember what we started with last week? Yeah, we started with a yellow at the top, didn't we? Yellow at the top. Then we went in, we had a bit of yellow ochre, we used a bit of our blue in there to mix with the yellow to get greens. We then came down into our pinks and blues and reds, so all those colours again we can use, but in watercolour this time. So I'm going to start. So I'm going to stick with my number 12 initially, and I'm going to put some yellow, which is quite a bright green, just onto the top of our bits of land. They work quite quickly, so a bit of yellow ochre in there now. So we've got to work nice and quick with these first layers because we want it to merge in, these colours to merge in while it's wet. Yellows soon get contaminated, don't they?
Looks like a slime.
Well, a bit of seaweed.
Yeah.
So I've gone in with my yellow ochre, a bit of blue on the top. I'm going to put a bit of pink in there now. It's this nice sort of quinacridone rose, I think it is. Oh, I've got a... So it's all wet, so it's all merging. It will dry a little bit lighter. I'm going to go in with a mauve. No, no. So again, putting it in a sort of like bands, but not stripes. And I'm getting a little bit darker as we go down the hill, the cliffs and so on. Oh, I forgot my funny bit of rock.
No.
I'm going to go with a smaller brush for my little bit of rock. I can always put my little bit of rock in afterwards. A bit of yellow at the top, a bit of yellow ochre, spread it about. Yeah, we've got 3 of these to do, so.
Purple. To get that purpley, I want to.
Blue and red will make a nice purple if you haven't got one on you. And it's nice and wet so that when you drop your colours in, it merges. completely different. Everybody's this week will be completely different. Don't forget we make the one in the distance a little bit paler, so it goes back. We can add some darker touches while it's wet too.
I feel like mine's way too wet. It's like really, really wet. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, keep it nice and wet and just let the colours drop the colours in, and they'll merge and blend, and we can spread some out. They're going to dry a bit lighter. And the nice thing about watercolours and this sort of cliffs and rocks that we're doing, if we get strange shapes and edges being created, it doesn't really matter, because that's what we have in rocks, isn't it? We have little interesting shapes. And going in darker at the base, we need to get some seeing in a minute. I started with my bigger brush, I've gone in with my smaller brush now. Still wet up there, look. Right, what I'm going to do is, because this sort of dry, well, it's not dry, that one's still a bit wet. I've got a reasonably straight line there, so I'm going to just use my flat brush to put my C in rather than using masking tape. So I'm going to go in with my ultramarine blue, so it's different to the sky blue. Check the strength of it. We want it quite nice and dark, and I'm going to go across there, and then we should begin to hit our wax, so that as I paint up to the edge of the land, the wax resists the paint. So this is on dry paper, and we do need to just go around our land. You don't have to put that rock in.
I will get this rock in.
So using those horizontal lines, just like we did last week, the wax gives us a nice resist and suggests the spray on the water. And then you realise that you've forgotten to put some somewhere. Dry a bit before we perhaps go back in and just add a few more darker bits. We can pick out these little rocks that we've put in and add some darker sort of cove areas like we had last time. The thing is to get all these colours nicely merging blending in together and getting these lovely shapes. Now this one, I've got a bit of a mess where my sky ran back, so I could, it is almost dry, so we could, if you've got quite a steady hand, you can probably do it with just your paintbrush, flat paintbrush, or if it's bone dry, we can put the masking tape on and get a nice straight line. But I think I will go in with my paintbrush. Try and get a nice.
This is the one with the masking.
So this is the masking fluid one. So I want to cover up that dodgy bit. Where my paint on water ran back. See, it's a bit wet there because it's dipping, paper's dipping a bit. But you can also, because we've not put any land colours into the land, we can get our shapes of our land crisper. And we'll just paint over the masking fluid. We don't have to paint around it, we'll just paint over it. And again, this is my ultramarine blue. Really useful thing, masking fluid, because anything that you want white on your watercolour painting or light, it's very difficult to paint around things, so we can mask out. There we go, nice deep ultramarine blue. What? Loch Ness Monster. So the C bit, so what we're doing is, I'll do it on this one again, I'll do it on this one, this is the third one. So this is the one that we just put the sky on. So again, nice big flat brush, load it with your ultramarine, decide where you want your C, and let's just put that line in of our C, which is not straight, so I'll make sure it's nice and horizontal, because water always finds the level. That's why we have spirit levels. And we've got a nice rich blue, ultramarine blue. So this one hasn't got any wax or masking fluid on. We're going to add the white afterwards with chalk, or say you can use gouache paint, white gouache, which is opaque, which it will sit on top of the colours. White watercolour won't, because it's translucent. Or we could use white chalk or pastel, or we can use white acrylic as well.
like it's the side rippling. It's really
Okay, well don't worry about that because we can keep building up the colours on it.
Okay.
That's the beauty of watercolour
Right.
as well.
So now I'm going on to this one.
I've just, I don't know what I've done with the masking tape.
So, masking
Masking,
fluid.
sorry, masking fluid.
Masking fluid.
I've just gone
We're
over
just
it.
doing the sea, are we?
We're
on
just
that
doing
one?
the sea, so
Do we need a different colour to the sky?
ideally, yes, something like ultramarine. Have you got ultramarine?
Cobalt.
Cobalt was more your sky blue. Ultramarine, phthalo, something like that. So,
Prussian blue.
Prussian blues, that's alright.
Did you say palfo?
phthalo?
Hello.
Phthalo. Oh no, it's all P's, H's and T's.
Yes, that's right. I've got it.
I need my brush to just put a few little ripples in the distance. If we go over our bits of rock, it doesn't matter. And don't forget we're going to put chalk on top of this to give us our